Good afternoon, world. It's moments past noon in Waxahachie, Texas, deep, deep, deep in the heart of the greatness of the Lone Star State. And today is the 2nd of November. I guess we'll have to put the
2nd of November. What?
2nd of June.
June,
June.
November. Where'd you come up with November?
I don't know. I've got this problem, and I'm getting it treated. Well, I'm being tested. I'm having testing done.
What time does it start, Randy? We start at noon.
Noon.
Were we late today? Maybe by 30 seconds?
Noon. Well, it said noon 01 here, but I don't
Okay.
know. So here we go. June 2nd, 146th episode. I look back and we started this on September 17th of 2024. We're coming up on 2 years.
Wow, that's flown by.
It's almost like we're gonna make it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, really.
I
Randy, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday. Uh, it looks like you're watching on Facebook. Well, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday noon to 1 o'clock.
Right, exactly. We're downtown studio in Waxahachie in the shadows of the Ellis County Courthouse, and I am your co-host, Jeff Lynch. Our man Sam at the board, and to my right, wearing his Pops hat, and
Yeah, my pop's hat. You know what that means? That's U.S. Open.
it's US Open.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you're looking good in your great and good news hat.
and
Yeah, my new friends.
his librarian frames.
Yeah. What can you say? If you can't, you got to fool them. Anyway, thank you for being here. It is a beautiful Tuesday in Waxahachie, Texas. You're welcome, Randy. Thank you for being here. I was on the phone this morning with somebody. I don't know where she was living, but uh, it was something I needed done for parts of our insurance in our company. And she wanted she was saying back to me our address. Instead of trying to say Waxahachie, she just spelled it out. And I said, I get it, but in case you ever need to say Waxahachie, it's Waxahachie. And she was grateful for the advice, grateful for the understanding. But we do this every Tuesday, Thursday. We talk about a number of different things going on in our community, in the nation, in the world. Actually, today I didn't tell you, but we're going to talk a little bit about because there's a great story out about these campers in Idaho, young people, and what happened to them. So we're going to talk a little bit about aliens today.
My dear wife
And
has a delusion about how much she wants to camp, and I tell her she wouldn't spend a
no,
night on the
let me
ground.
tell you something. I admire people who have passions. So whatever it is, unless it's being a serial killer. But somebody in church on Sunday was talking in our class was talking about camping. And one of the other ladies, who's one of Sonia's best friends, says, "Oh my gosh, why does anybody go camping?" And I'm right there with her. I cannot get the gist of it. But anyway, thank you for being here. We are Grit and Good News. If you go to Substack.com for $5 a month, you can get a boatload of content that we provide every single week. On Monday, you get a email before you wake up. On Friday, you get an email before you wake up. And in that email is links to our page, our site on Substack.com. There are columns, there are opinion poems. Sammy provides content. Sammy has a sports column. So we have links to our shows. We have links to other things going on. So for $5 a month, it really boils down to cents on the dollar for the amount of content you get, and we would love you to subscribe for sure. So today, as usual, we start with the number of episodes. Sammy goes out and finds notable professional players that played in the four major sports. In this case, we lop off the 100, the one of 146, and use 46. So it's a weird number. We always start with football, right, Sammy?
Hmm
And I can't think of, I mean, I
I
picture a Philadelphia Eagle in my mind wearing 46, but I don't know who that would be.
I don't know. I got Tim McDonald for
I
the
don't even know who that
Cardinals.
is.
Doug Plank,
Okay, he played for the
the
Bears.
Bears. We got Herm
Oh,
Edwards
yeah.
for the Eagles, and Pete Johnston for the Browns.
Have you guys heard of the butt fumble?
Yeah,
Remember the butt fumble? Mark
Sanchez.
Sanchez was instead of I don't know what I don't know if they should have downed it or took a knee or whatever, but he ran into his own player, fumbled the ball, and they ran it back for a touchdown. There was an earlier play years ago by a quarterback for the Giants that he didn't fumble it. He didn't run into his own player, but he fumbled it when they should have just taken a knee. Herm Edwards is the one who picked it up for the Eagles and ran
Oh.
it all the way back for a touchdown.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
all right,
But
so
I didn't even get NBA. I didn't even do basketball.
yeah, I don't think did you even look?
Yeah.
And there wasn't any.
I mean, it gives you some, but
Why would anybody choose 46 for any number? I mean, for any jersey. Seriously.
I really
Unless
don't know.
you're, unless you just barely made the team.
Middle age.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
you barely made the team.
Yeah, I don't know, but
All right, well, so
MLB.
MLB, I wouldn't know a 46. I mean, it has to be a pitcher.
Yeah. Andy Petite
Eddie
Pettit.
Pettit
There you
for the
go. Why didn't I
Yankees.
think of that? He was a great pitcher for the Yankees.
Yeah, we got Lee Smith.
Oh, yeah.
We got Paul Goldschmidt for the Cardinals. We got Jim Maloney and Bert Hooton.
Bert Hooton.
Bert Hooton.
Yeah, that's
Well,
more
they-
than I thought. But yeah, Andy Pettit was a
Andy
great
Pettit.
left-hander. All right, hockey. I
Hockey.
know one.
Who?
Jack Hughes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, he scored the winning goal for the Olympics. You don't even
Who does
have
he
that,
play
do you,
for?
Mr. Crockpot
Who does he play for?
researcher?
Who's he play for?
He plays for the
one of them plays
Devils.
for Jersey, one for Columbus.
I thought both Jack and Luke both played.
Well,
play
one
for
of them's not Luke, first of all.
Oh.
Sammy.
Well,
Jack Hughes plays for the Devils, but he wore number 46 in the Olympics.
Okay,
and I
well,
think
for
he
the
wears
Devils-
46.
he wears 86 for the Devils
I don't think so.
because it's 46
I
plus
don't think so.
46
Okay.
Huh?
or 43 plus 43. That's why he wears 86
What does 43 have to do with it?
because
brother.
his brother.
You're just
I'm trying. I'm.
Oh, I hear an echo in here. I think
Oh.
I
Sammy-
said it first.
I know you
Oh.
didn't. Sammy just repeats it like
I'm twice as good as my brother.
Sammy's a parrot sitting on your shoulder.
Oh.
I did. It did sound a little bit echo chamber to me too.
No,
Anyway, all right, so
No.
that's it, right, Sam?
no, we
All
didn't
right,
even
wait,
do it.
a Jack Hughes. Well, we're sitting here talking. Do
There-
a Jack Hughes and see what number he is.
Well,
on
I
that.
got one other guy, and
Oh, who?
Roman Polek, who played for the Leafs a long time. He played a few years. As they say, he had a cup of coffee for the Stars.
Oh, yeah. It's just a weird number.
And I liked how they referred to him. I always kind of liked it when I was referred to as a stay-at-home D.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I don't mean I couldn't rush the puck, but,
Yeah,
but
got
I was mindful of my own end.
yeah, exactly. All right, NHL Finals, yes, sir.
You want it? First of all, it's Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, and
That's
Luke
what-
Hughes.
Okay, I don't know Luke. I'm talking
So,
about Jack.
Jack
I
wears
know Quinn plays for the.
86 for the Devils because Luke plays for the Devils too, and Luke wears 43. So Jack did double that.
That's the dumbest logic I've ever heard.
I got him, fellas.
We'll
All
take
right, well,
it. We'll take it.
46. Thank you, Sammy. You can work on your research skills. NHL Finals tonight.
It's
What do we
not
got?
that. It's not that easy. You remember, I made a few mistakes,
I know,
and
y'all
that's
are
why
relying
that's
on
why I coughed
AI.
up the job. Did I cough up the job, or was I unassigned?
Hey, you like take it.
I got unassigned.
But anyway, tonight NHL Finals. So we got the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. Put your money where your mouth is. Who's going to win it? Sammy was bragging the other day about he picked somebody to win in 6. I don't know who. Spurs.
No, yeah, I had the Spurs winning in 7, and I had the
7.
Knicks winning in 5, but they won in 4.
Well, let me tell you one thing. When you got one team in the Stanley Cups that's 12-1 through 3 rounds, and the other one that's 12-4, meaning they're combined 24-5.
That's amazing.
That is amazing, and those are teams that don't like to win much. I kind of like Carolina
Yeah.
because of Stankoven and Rod Brindamore, the coach, who was a player in 08, the last time
won it,
that
yeah.
they won it. I like them for all those reasons. I am a Vegas fan, but I think I told you a week or two ago, I was really bothered when they let their coach go with 8 games left,
Yeah.
and then they banned him from interviewing with other teams.
Yeah.
I've never heard of
Well,
that.
for that
happening.
reason alone, I'm going for
Yeah,
I'm picking
so
Carolina.
we'll go
Carolina's
Carolina.
a great hockey team.
Yeah,
I don't really like East in sports,
I don't need the generally.
so I go West.
All
I'll
right.
go-
So how many? You're picking Carolina and how many?
6.
Sammy?
I'll go 6 for the Knights. I
I'll
like
go
that.
6 for Carolina.
Okay.
All right. NBA finals start tomorrow night, and we have a great matchup. I mean,
The best one we could got.
Yeah, probably so. Oh, by the way, did you see what SGA had to say in an interview after the game?
Nope.
Um, First of all, his hair was he let
I
go of
saw
that.
his hair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty wild. But he was talking about Chet Holmgren, who had a lousy game,
Horrible game.
and he just said, we love Chet. Chet's a big part of this team, and he is. He said we just he, yeah, bad games, and we just stand by him. Just like people stand by me.
Mm.
I thought it was pretty classy of him to do that. So we got the NBA. What do you got, Sam? Spurs, Knicks.
I'll go. I'll go. Spurs in 6.
Jeffrey.
I'll mirror him.
I got Knicks in 7.
Knicks in 7.
I just think the Knicks are just too easty. The East is always
Yeah.
bruiser, bulk, and
And they
but
tore
Wemby
it
got,
up in the playoffs this year.
yeah, they did.
But my pick is more just going for the hometown
Yeah,
or state, and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that,
I
that's
got you.
that's why it's
Well, Wemby,
they won't
Wemby,
get any of my money. Let's put it
yeah,
like that.
Wemby. He got beat up in playing at Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that the Knicks are playing better basketball than the Thunder were, so
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
yeah. So, and I don't know where they open up
Spurs.
at San
Yeah,
Antonio. Where's hockey open up? Do we know?
Carolina.
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 Yeah. So there you have it. Texas high school baseball. We know that Waxahachie lost to round Rockwall. Rockwall then turned around and lost to Keller. So this weekend is all the divisions from 1A to 6A play in Round Rock down near Austin. Uh, in our district, our level, it's going to be Keller against Lake Travis.
I don't know if they're
So we
playing.
out?
Yeah, we're out.
Oh,
Yeah,
Rangers have got minor league team in Round Rock. I wonder if
yeah.
it's in that. Is it in that
Oh, Round
stadium?
Rock. Yeah,
That's a nice little stadium.
yeah. That's where our AAA is. We have a
Right.
minor league, a double A in Frisco,
Right.
which is where tonight Corey Sager and Wyatt Johnston, is it Johnston?
mhm.
Yeah,
For the
are
Stars.
doing
Making
rehab.
rehab
Yeah,
appearances. Yeah.
so that place will be sold out, I'm sure. Uh, but yeah, our
Have
AAA
you ever
is
been to
down.
that place in
Yeah,
Frisco?
it's cool looking. Sammy's been to it, but he won't remember it.
Did he bring his swimming suit?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
There's a pool in the outfield.
So there you have it on high school baseball. We'll let you know who won next Tuesday. World Cup is headed to Dallas soon. And then the U.S. Open
Stop.
is 2 weeks from this weekend, which is always during Father's Day
Right.
weekends, which is why I have my Pops hat on
And
today.
speak in my family, I'm Pop, which was short for Papa.
Yeah,
It's either Pop or Pops. If you're not one of those, you're hardly a dad.
yeah.
Speaking of calendars, I'm not dragging this down, but we do start June, and I told you in May that May and June are the only months that don't share their calendar with anybody else. Thank you for indulging me.
You'll not hear that on any other show.
I guarantee you.
So there you have it on the sports side. On the Tarnation side, so if I said to you, you already know. So Sammy, I'm going to ask you and put you on the spot. There are companies, Fortune 500 companies, those are the big companies in America, are leaving blue states, or blue cities, and they're by blue states, most of them, but like Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York
Connecticut,
City, Boston, yeah, places up there.
Delaware.
They're moving, getting out because they're so taxed. Do you know what the number one state is they're going to?
Georgia.
Texas. You know what the
Oh,
number one metroplex they're going to? Dallas
Dallas.
Fort Worth. So we have all these Fortune 500 companies and those that aren't, but that are big, that are leaving these blue states because it's absurd how they're taxed. I know what it's like to hear from the government often in terms of just here's a tax bill, here's this you need to fill out, here's that you need to fill out. Imagine what these big companies deal with.
Yeah, and we've had state migrations in our history. I mean, the
Yeah.
whole West, they all came out there for the gold rush and for the
Hmm.
pioneer deal and all that. I moved to Texas in '83 with $200 and no job because at that time we were having somewhat of a recession in our country, and we were having the division of our country into the Sun Belt and the Rust Belt.
Yeah.
All those northern states, all those
Yeah.
northern cities were diminishing.
Yeah.
And I came,
I mean, you won't find Sammy was born in Cleveland. but he's a Texan. You were born in
Corpus,
Corpus, so you're a native
but
Texan,
native
but
Texas.
you lived in Minnesota.
You know, we had a Substack poem about why we like Texas
Yeah,
or why we like being from Texas.
yeah.
I better read that next week.
Well, as a native Texan, I couldn't be more proud of the state. Now, we're going to talk about it in just a few minutes. There's Talarico in the Paxton race, which a lot of people are taking shots at Texas and certainly taking shots at me for what I had to say the other day in a column. But I couldn't be more proud of Texas. I think it's the best state in the country, and I'm proud to live here. It's got great economies for the most part. It's no state tax. Our property taxes are out of control, which is partly because we don't have a state income tax, and that needs to be reined in. But it's a great state. I
No
mean, it
doubt.
gets hotter than hell for 2 months out of the year, but I'd rather that than, you know, have frostbite 8 months out of the year.
So,
So
Sam, if anybody else is like me and doesn't do a good job of watching the, is that on the Facebook post? Is that the
what?
Sun's Facebook post of the column?
Yeah,
When
the
you're,
column is on Facebook. So the
it,
column, my column, just as your
yeah.
poems, is on Substack, but then Sammy posts it on Wednesdays on, so it's, wait a minute. Yeah, when I have a no, when I have a column in the Sun, it runs on Facebook on the same day the Sun print version comes out, which is Wednesday. When we have our scheduled rotation of Substack, the column Sammy teases it on Mondays and on Fridays.
So
So
this
what
column you're
people
talking about
is
appeared.
Substack.
Oh, the
Yesterday
Substack. But
in
where have people seen it?
on Facebook, the tease of it.
The
So
tease.
people will what's happening, and we can just jump to that real quick. But what's happening? Sammy, cue up the Talarico uh, video. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, so we'll just jump to that real quick. The Substack column for Grit and Good News was Texas. This state is not really. The headline was not ready to uh, give itself up to the far left. Which some guy made a comment on my column that Talarico isn't the far left. I'm thinking, well, if he's not the far left, what is he? Because he certainly
It's
is.
far
I mean, he may
enough.
be moderate these days, but moderate these days for the left is far left. Um, if you're a moderate Democrat, you're pretty much a John Fetterman, which is more Republican than Democrat in my view. But the Talarico, the column yesterday elicited a lot of discussion uh, about Texas, and so we would rather. This is the devil's advocate speaking, taking me to task, which is in some pretty harsh ways, and that is to say, oh, you can't deal with a guy who, again, these people believe Talarico walks on water. You can't deal with a guy, you can't support a guy who's calm and careful and thoughtful and loving and Christian and blah blah blah, all this other BS about Talarico, but you can support a guy like Paxton, who's a con man, who's a thief, who's an adulterer, who's all these other things. Well, the column wasn't about Paxton. I don't care if Talarico was running against, an Auburn fan. I mean, I'm gonna vote for who Talarico's running against, not Talarico, because I believe Talarico is a heretic. I believe he's a heretic in the sense that he's taking the Bible, God's words, and he is just butchering them. And I read an open letter from a pastor. Can't remember where he's located, but a pastor of a bigger church, mega church. A very kind letter to Talarico, an open letter, just said, "Dude, what you're saying that God doesn't mention an abortion in the Bible, so it must be okay. But God talks about how He stitched us together in our mother's womb. He knew us when we were in our mother's womb, so on and so forth. And that murder is one of the Ten Commandments. It's just a whole heresy of things that are going on. And but people in response to this column are like, dude, to me, you so you'd rather have Paxton? And as I told my Sunday school class on Sunday, because one of our he's a great doctor, been a doctor here for a long time, and I love him. But he said, because I was talking about the column, and he said, well, Scott, the challenge is who do we vote for then? If and because he believes me about Talarico. He said, I'm certainly not going to vote for Talarico, but do we as Christians vote for a guy like Paxton? And I said, look, if we were voting for Paxton to be our pastor, heck no, we vote no, we don't want him as our pastor, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about a guy, just like with Trump, we're talking about a guy who is to represent us in politics.
Haven't you all of your life as a voter been in a situation where you cast your vote based on the lesser of two evils?
Yes.
I mean, that's an important decision to make.
Well, somebody,
The other one might maybe be great, but if he's the lesser of two evils,
yeah. Yeah,
hello,
somebody sent me a text the other day and said, okay, I don't know who all these people on the ballot, who are you voting for? And so I told her, and I referenced it though as to your point, this is a lesser of two evils vote. It's a ballot with
right,
lesser of two. So Paxton, the thing about Paxton, and you could also say with Trump, first of all, he's going to be labeled whatever people want to label him as.
right.
And very few of these people really know the truth, just like I don't know the exact truth of um, what Paxton has done. You know, I had a sitting city council person say all kinds of awful things about me to people who don't know any different, and they some of them will just believe what he says, but what they don't know is that he's just a blatant liar. So I think we have to be careful about all the things that we hear people throw around with respect to Paxton. But the idea that Talarico uh, is in Texas and has all these beliefs or dogmas isn't going to fly in the state of Texas. I'm telling you. And I don't think, just like with Beto, just like with uh, have been others in the past. They don't. He may have a chance, but it's a slim chance. Listen to this video. This is Talarico. I don't know. These are obviously two different interviews, but these were taken months and months apart at separate places, in separate places. But I want you to just listen to this and then think to yourself. Think about Kamala Harris, and think about whether
You're
or
stealing
not.
my thunder there, dude.
Sorry, you can.
That's all right.
But think about whether or not there's thoughtfulness in this, or if it's a guy, much like an actor, a guy who knows how to play the thoughtful character and gives you an impression of being thoughtful. Thoughtful would mean you're able to just like we prep for our show, but we don't read anything to you. We're just telling you what we think from our heart, and you'll never find two shows that are the same. So listen to this. These are two different interviews, far apart. This is James Talarico.
Gone to every corner of Texas over the course of this campaign, from Beaumont to El Paso, from Amarillo to Brownsville, and everywhere in between. And I can't tell you the number of people who come up to me at the end of these events and whisper, "I'm not a Democrat," like they're in the witness protection program. Well, you know, I've gone to every corner of Texas over the course of this campaign, from Beaumont to El Paso, from
When those are such an overlay of each other, and the cadence matches, that's just it's exactly what Kamala did. But the difference is, and there's probably more of these. Kamala had about 6, 8, 10 little turn it on, I can go. You want to talk about abortion, I can go. Immigration, I can go. Boom, boom. It never changes on anything. It'd be interesting to see how many more of these
Yeah,
similarities he's
well, I
got.
think whoever created that, I mean,
His
we
little
could
talk about abortion, that's
well, I
these
think
are
there are
stock
probably a
things.
lot of
Yeah.
those out there, and you know, we just have two, but he's saying the same thing. So the question boils down to whether or not James Talarico believes what he says, or is a very good enough, let's put it that way. I don't know about very good, but good enough actor to convince constituents and voters that he is thoughtful, that he he cares, and that he is sincere and authentic. I argue he's not. That's one example of why I believe that.
Despite the fact that he's the most clean cut, good looking candidate running for an office, any ticket in the state right now.
Yeah, I think he as we wrote in our column, we even talked about it last Thursday. I don't think Talarico knows what he's in for. because not only is the Texas Republican machine going to go for his
KT.
throat, the national Republican GOP is going to go for him. Again, not unlike what happened with Beto. So these people that want to rail on me for saying no way to Talarico and that I'm all screwed up because that means I'm pulling for Paxton. The truth is that we had Paxton, Talarico, Cornyn, and do you remember who Talarico ran against? Who he had to beat to get here? Jasmine.
Yeah, yeah,
So we
how that
on the
yeah.
left we had Jasmine and we had Crockett. I mean, I'm sorry, we had Talarico and we had Crockett. On the right we had Paxton and Cornyn. I don't want John Cornyn in office anymore because I believe he's Mitch McConnell 2.0. And his time passed him a long time ago. And I certainly didn't want Crockett having anything to do with Texas politics, and I don't want Talarico. So what do you end up with? The lesser of the evils. Now I don't know Paxton. I have friends that know him. He was up here not long ago, and those friends had lunch with him. Um, I suspect that he lives in that honor among thieves world, and that he's done some things he probably would regret. But can he be an effective senator? That's the question.
He was in town for a deal in Collin County the other day, and I'm reading up on this, and I'm getting a little bit surprised. Did you realize that Paxton's first political office, he was a Texas state rep out of Collin County,
Oh well,
and then
yeah.
his next job was the state senator
And then
out of that
attorney general.
area,
Yeah.
and then attorney general, and I think Talarico's thinking, I got to get in, even if I'm not going to win these areas, get some red votes because I need all my votes. But Collin County last picked a Democratic president in LBJ in
Yeah.
1964, and
Yeah.
they last picked a governor from red, Lloyd Benston, in '88,
Yeah.
and I think maybe it goes back to what we haven't talked about this on the. This is in show prep when we're talking about the data centers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He's going there because of the Collin County high propensities. It's got Frisco, it's got Plano,
Right.
it's got a lot of happening stuff going on up there. I'm not sure if McKinney's in it or not.
Yeah. Probably.
So he just thinks that's a place to be. And we've got big time news with the Dallas Morning News. It was a front page article about him going to have a talk in
Yeah.
Collin County.
Yeah. So when we get down to Texas, as we talked about last week, we have 12 or 15 of these pathetic people in Congress for all these years. And because of one, gerrymandering, number two, just the the nature of the ambiance or the feel of the country, these people are now no longer, I think I don't have it with me, but no longer in office. So this will be the first time in decades for some of them that we won't be dealing with these people. McConnell, Kennedy, not Kennedy, but the guy that just lost in Louisiana. Those guys are on the right. On the left, there's a whole bunch, Crockett and so on and so
Yeah.
forth, that we won't have to deal with. But for every Crockett, there's a Talarico, meaning that Talarico will beget. The Bible has the begets where David beget Joe, Joe beget Tom, Tom beget, and it goes on and on. Well, my theory in politics is that and the reason why I resist these people so strongly is because Crockett leads to Talarico. Talarico is going to lead, Beto leads to Crockett. Crockett leads to Beto, however you want to look at it. But Talarico, he's going to lose, and then but somebody out there who's got, uh, same kind of ideology is going to run. And so they keep begetting these people. And
Mhm.
I think we need to say enough's enough. Now, the question, as I told my class, the question is, can does Trump allow God to use him to be an effective president? That's the question for me, is because people that believe, and many of you listening may believe this, but don't mistake or don't convince yourself that God only uses good people to achieve what he set out to achieve. Um, I can refute that in a matter of seconds. I can start with the apostles, because the apostles were a ratty crew, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
All the way from being a tax collector to a fisherman to whatever else. But then you look at characters in the Bible like King David, one of the greatest kings ever in biblical times, and God says he was a man after God's own heart. David was a disaster. Matter of fact, you could almost compare David, King David, and Paxton in terms of their behaviors, the mistakes they made, as being on similar levels. David even took it further, where he found that his wife Bathsheba, no, he had an affair with Bathsheba, Uriah's wife. Uriah was a soldier, or a whatever you call him back then, colonel, lieutenant, whatever, in the army, and and Bathsheba became pregnant. So what did David do? David sent Uriah to the front lines, knowing he was going to be killed, and so that nothing would be found out, that they could just say it's Uriah's baby. Well, God knew better, and the baby died after a year, I think it was, if I have my facts right. And Uriah was killed, and David was classified as a murderer in that case. And so I say that we should say, God's going to use lots of different people to achieve his mission. And they're all, matter of fact, the majority of them, we're all sinners, but the majority of them aren't going to be the goody two shoes that we might think.
And remember this, a bad example is as powerful or more powerful than a good example.
Exactly. So when you say, okay, well, is God using Trump? I say God's using Trump. Is God going to use Paxton? We'll see. But God isn't using Talarico, other than to show us what a heretic looks like, in my view. So there you have it. I think that that last week was a big time step in America's future. I think today, with respect to California, and I want to talk about it, but today in California, we have the mayor's race in Los Angeles, which is a big deal. Uh, the primary there, and then for the governorship of California, today is the primary. And Jeff, I'll let you explain it unless you want me to. That California has a very unique, if you don't know this already, California has a unique, I say very unique, voting system when
Well,
it comes
yeah,
to
it's
governors.
it's different from almost every place I can think
Yeah, I
of.
don't know another state like
You
that.
know, so we just had Republican and Democratic primaries. If we ever got one of the third parties big enough, uh, and sometimes you'll see a third party
Yeah,
if there's a couple of people fighting for it.
yeah.
But what they have is what they call the jungle primary, and it means you want in for this office? We don't care. We'll put 5 Republicans. We'll put 5 Democrats. We'll split it in half. Whoever signs up, we don't care. You're on the ballot if you
Mhm.
qualify in all the ways you have to qualify. And now the
Yeah.
survival of the fittest. And if we end up with 2 Republicans, then that's what's going to be in the election.
Yeah,
2 Democrats.
so a jungle primary, as Jeff just said, means that California is the top two vote getters. It
Right.
doesn't matter what party you're from. So right now, uh, uh, seeing polls last night showed that Steve Hilton, who uh, was born in England but is an American citizen, has the English accent, um, is at, I think it was 25%, and Tom Steyer, the billionaire who's run for president and runs for everything else, was at like 24%, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, and they were the two leading vote getters in that poll. So the way the system works is it would be them to then go to the general election in November, and they would choose between Tom Steyer and Steve Hilton. It could be, and I cannot remember for the life of me who the other Republicans are running in California. I can picture them, but I'm trying to remember who they are. It could be 2 Republicans
Right.
head up the ticket in a blue state, and there's nothing the Democrats can do about it. So
Who are bleeding people to Texas.
they are bleeding
Am
people to
I the
Texas.
only person that feels this way? I hate it when I'm listening to an answering deal at a company and somebody's talking to me with a British accent. I hate that.
Yeah.
I love the British people, but somehow they think that by having a British accent, you're going to think we are a better, stronger, smarter, greater
Yeah, there's
company.
definitely those profiling types of things that
Yeah.
go on when you hear certain accents,
Yeah.
so I get what you're saying. So we'll see what happens in California today, and tonight we'll have the results, but it's a big deal. I mean, you may say, well, that's 2,500 miles away from us, and it is, and California is really the antithesis of Texas. But as you just stated, we are seeing more and more people from California move to Texas, and we don't want them to, as the old adage is, don't California our Texas. And I think Texas is strong enough to say that ain't gonna fly, which is why I'm so adamant about making sure that I do my part in North Texas with Talarico.
And we've also had the expression, don't Austin my Dallas,
Yeah, that's
which is
true.
happening
It
too.
is happening. It really is
Yeah.
happening, man. Austin's moniker is keep Austin weird.
Right.
And there was, Jeff knows, I was born and raised in Dallas. You couldn't have found a more conservative publication than the Dallas Morning News, and as a result, it represents the people, or was consumed by the people in Dallas, and it grew and was a very strong newspaper. Today, it's gone way left. And matter of fact, in 2000, well, not just today, but in 2016, the Dallas Morning News endorsed Hillary over Trump. So we do see other cities in Texas that are trying to extend, cities like Austin that are as liberal as it gets, trying to do that to other cities in Texas. And I mean, it may fly in the big cities. I don't know that it'll really fly too much in DFW, but it may. I think the Dallas Morning News is being kicked to the curb in big swaths of subscribers because of where it's gone. But we'll see. I just need to make sure we do our part in making sure our
Sure.
readers know about people like Talarico.
Can I slide in a Tarnation? Because we got
Yeah.
past our Tarnations.
Yeah.
All right. I got Facebook. I got Instagram. I got YouTube. I got TikTok. I barely watch any of them. But TikTok has developed this little habit where I turn my phone on and I got these notifications, and TikTok, Jeff, we've chosen this just for you. Okay. I know you didn't choose it for me, and I never didn't think you chose it for me. But today, when I get one and I open it up, and it's the cats walking in front formation toward each other, I'm going, I think that looks like it was an AI deal.
Right.
TikTok, if you knew me, you don't get cats. I don't like cats. But Scott, Sammy, you better look for that one.
Yeah.
Have you already seen it?
I haven't seen
Look
it.
for it. Cats
Okay.
in formation.
Okay.
It was for you, not for me.
I was going to tell you as you were talking there, I was going to see if I could find. Oh yeah. So you got Steve Hilton, that's the one I was thinking of. So a sheriff in California, conservative sheriff, is also on the ballot, Chad Bianco. And then the liberals are Tom Steyer, Katie Porter, and Xavier Becerra, who was in Biden's administration. So we'll just see what happens tonight. It will be an interesting night to watch what goes on. All right, let's talk about. Oh, I want to mention a couple other things. NFL Pride. So this is Pride Month, which I don't even understand why don't we have a straight month? Here's another thing I want to find out. I never will, but we have Martin Luther King Day, which we always recognize. We have February is known as
President's Day.
with President's Day.
We
But
used to have a Lincoln's and a Washington's. Now we have one.
but February is known as
Black Pride Month.
Black History Month,
Black History.
and a lot of it has to do with Martin Luther King. But we have a Veterans Day, so why don't we have Veterans Month? I mean, first of all, why do we have these days? I mean, can't we be thankful for the veteran? I know it's a rhetorical question, but can't we be thankful, and shouldn't we be thankful every other day? Of course we should. And
since we don't, we're reminded.
yeah, so but
Same
but
with
I say
Memorial Day,
yeah, true. So I say, but for Veterans Day, I think that group is special enough, extraordinary enough to say we need a month. Let's really recognize our veterans, and because we've covered stories of veterans. We got a veteran here. I mean, he's 100 years old, uh, and so but there's Pride Month. So when you think about veterans versus the LGBTQ community, if LGBTQ is going to get a month, the veterans ought to have a month.
So let me ask you this. I'm not certain. I know certain holidays are federally
Sanction. Yeah.
dictated
Yeah.
sanctions.
Yeah.
And some of them are a group gets big enough and makes a clamor enough, and they just say, "This is our day. This is
Yeah.
our month." Is that the story on on Pride or not? Do you know? Is it
Uh,
is it official in any?
I don't know if it's official. Somebody calling.
If it's not official, which I'm guessing it's not, although I'm certainly could be way wrong.
Are you talking about for Pride Day?
Yeah,
Pride Month?
then
I don't know.
they have done a nice job of lobbying for
Yeah, I mean,
themselves.
it can be unofficially official. You know what I mean? So the NFL in past years, ever since what George Floyd, the NFL has really gone woke, and since Roger Goodell's run it, but the NFL has for a long time now, for the years that it's been in existence, has honored and recognized Pride Month. But this year, yesterday was the kickoff to Pride Month, June 1st. Uh, if you looked at the NFL's any of its social media accounts, which in past years has included the recognition that it's Pride Month, there's nothing to be found on those accounts relative to Pride Month now, which I think says something about what the NFL is. I don't know if it'll ever do it with Roger Goodell, but the truth is, well, the
Is
truth is,
drifting back from its
yeah,
far
the
left.
appearance is that it's getting back to just being football. I wanted to tell you as a result of that that there are 9 NFL clubs that do not in any way recognize Pride Month. And some of these may surprise you, some may not. The New York Jets do not, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Dallas Cowboys, and the New Orleans Saints. Uh, yeah, so but I think there's not really a clamor like in past years where it's Pride Month and all of us ought to be wearing those stupid rainbow colors and all that crap. So maybe the pressure's not on
Right.
for these guys. But I thought that mix of teams, because I mean it covers Northeast, it covers Pittsburgh, which is upper
Yeah.
Midwest, Cleveland, same thing, Cincinnati, same thing, Tennessee, Texas, Nevada, and Louisiana. Um, so I thought that would be interesting to our viewers, just to one know that the NFL may in fact be distancing itself from
Right.
Pride Month, and that those 9 teams don't recognize it.
And then my requester, being Sam, did a little research on that question of how did it come about, Pride Month.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it says not one person created it, but the person who officially did it as June was Bill Clinton.
Oh,
So it goes way back.
Yeah.
And of course, Biden. Remember, Biden lit up the White House in rainbow colors.
Hmm.
It drives me crazy. Vicky says cats are awesome. Where did that come from? So were we talking about cats?
I was talking. You were snoozing on my whole deal
No,
about the
I was
cats.
trying to find those candidates. Oh, I don't know if I'd go that far. Sammy thinks cats are awesome. I think cats are rude and well, that's why, because I think they're rude and not very nice.
Antisocial.
Yeah, Chihuahuas are the the deal. Bless our little Binks, he's not feeling well. So anyway, I wanted to share that as well. And is that all the Tarnations we have?
That's all the Tarnations.
Well, I want to show you a
We didn't play
video.
the Jill Biden or the.
We haven't. So we're going to get to those. Let's play cue up the baseball Tarnation, Sammy.
Yeah.
So right now is big baseball time.
Rangers have
College
won
World
4 in a
Series.
row.
Well, yeah, Rangers on a roll. They beat St. Louis in St. Louis last night. But it's June ushers in the biggest uh, college baseball environment that there is, and that's the College World Series. But it's evolved over the years to having those that make the 64 team or 68, however many they have, but it's similar to March
Mhm.
Madness. Uh, the teams play a 4-team tournament like this past weekend. So 4 teams, the winner of that then goes, each of those then goes to play on to play, which kind of would be the equivalent of the Sweet 16,
Mm-hmm.
go on to play each other. So they call them super regionals. So this coming weekend are going to be 2 teams playing against one another at the, I guess, the better records home
And do they play
field.
those 2 out of 3?
They do.
Yeah.
So those are 2 out of 3 as well. So the this past weekend was a 4-team tournament. However, that it's got a double elimination deal in it. And then the super regionals is the best 2 out of 3. And then there are 16 super regionals. Once those are all done, 8 teams make it to the College World Series, which starts in mid-June. It's an exciting time.
Yeah.
And so yesterday, or it might have been Sunday, but all right, it was Georgia playing Liberty University. All right. Now, I get tired of, I don't, I mean, I, I try not to be, I don't want to be cocky. I mean, as I've gotten older, I've learned not to, tried not to be. When I was younger, I will admit that I was a bit cocky on the basketball court. Not that I had the goods to be cocky. I was just stupid enough to be cocky. Um, but so I like it when referees, like a few years ago, remember the football game between Mississippi State and Mississippi? This was for the Egg Bowl, and Ole Miss scored a touchdown, and the wide receiver, who's now in the pros, lifted his leg up like he was going to pee like a dog. And that's the kind of stuff that I think should be thrown out of the game. But when a guy scores a touchdown and he wants to do a little dance or whatever, I think that's all pretty cool. Baseball, same way. So a guy hits a home run. What you're about to see here is this guy's biggest hit of his college career in a regional tournament, Georgia against Liberty, for the win. I believe it. I don't know if it was a walk-off, but it put them ahead. Watch what happens here.
There's no audio, so you might want to narrate.
Okay, so what you're going to see is a guy at the plate, and he's going to hit the ball. It's a home run, but just watch what the batter does as he rounds the bases. All right, so he flips his little bat, and you see the umpire pushing him along. So he's doing, and watch the second baseman. Second baseman's telling him to chill out. So he keeps going. He's not taking, 20 seconds to get around the bases. So he continues that little charade. You can turn it off, Sam. That dance or that talking all the way to home. He gets home. He's one of the better players. Goes to the dugout. Everybody's excited, and the umps throw him out for his expressions, his whatever you might call that. And in football, when you have what do they call that? Targeting.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the second half of a game in the NCAA and you commit targeting, you're thrown out for the first half. You're thrown out then in the second half, regardless of when it happened, and then the first half of the next game. If you commit a targeting foul in the first half of your game, then you're thrown out for the game. In baseball, that guy right there, when you're thrown out, you have to sit out the next game. So they're going to the super regionals, and I don't know who they're playing. Maybe somebody like Mississippi
Yeah,
State.
I did not find that over emphatic. It
Yeah.
just looked like pure unmitigated
But
joy.
that's one thing. Now he's got to sit out the game
Yeah.
coming up, which I think is wholly ridiculous. Jill Biden has lost her freaking mind. I mean, not that I doubted she ever had a mind, but we're talking about a foreign con man kind of stuff. Remember when Joe got done with that debate last year? She's like on the stage afterwards, "You did so good, Joe. You answered every question." Like, okay, well, is the bar for his behavior on or performance on the ground? He answered every question. He's the president of the United States. And she's rallying the crowd, and Trump lied, and Joe's never had these episodes, blah blah blah. So they get to now, and she's being interviewed, and this is part of it. Go ahead and play that, Sam, or cue it up. This is Jill Biden talking about her observance of Joe Biden in that debate last year. No, when was it, last year or 2 years ago with against Trump, where Biden was like dead man walking, and she again congratulated him for such a good job after the fact. This is her now.
How do you square thinking that he may have had a stroke with what you were saying in the days and weeks after? How do you square those?
Well, look, Craig, look at it from my point of view. So I'm watching, just like everybody else was, scared to death, like what is going on? He gets off the stage. I see he appears to be okay. He says to me, Jill, I really, in other words, messed up, didn't I? And I said, yes, you did. And so we get off, and I know we're going into another event, or we have 2 more to do. And my mind is racing. What do I say to him? What do I say to him? I'm his wife. I've got to lift him up. So we go to the next event, and I'm thinking, what do I say that will lift him up? That is true. I want to say the things that are true. And so I said, you answered every question. My mind's racing.
That's a pretty low bar.
And so, I had to sort of lift him up. I mean, I'm his wife. I'm not going to get out on the stage there and say, Joe, you really screwed that up. I mean, and we have all our supporters there. So, that's who we are. I mean,
That's good.
I had to support him. I couldn't come out and.
Let me ask a question. Has she got a book out right now?
No, but I know I don't think it's out yet. They're working on their memoir.
Well, then, this is, as the great William Shakespeare said, much ado about nothing. This happened 2 years ago. I couldn't give a rat's behind about what she said to him 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for me is that in my job, I continue to make the case for America having the right kind of leader. Okay,
Right.
and some people, half the country doesn't believe that Donald Trump, a little less than half the country doesn't believe Donald Trump's that leader. I
Right.
say he is that leader. If there ever was one at this time in America's history, Donald Trump's the only one I can think of to do what he's done.
And Joe Biden is far from that leader.
Yeah. So, but what I think we can learn from this is that what we see now, we were just talking about Talarico being thought of as being thoughtful and smart and caring and all that stuff. This kind of thing, which obviously Joe Biden lied to us back then. That's not, one of these things has got to be true, you would think. If this is true, her saying I had to care for my husband, but I thought he was having a stroke, doesn't match with what she said back then. The question now is, I think, or the statement now, or the point now is that we can use that as a filter or as
Right.
a way of saying, well, wait a minute, if that's how the left is going to conduct itself at the highest level, then all these other things that we're hearing about from people,
Right.
can we assume that they're doing the same thing?
Right.
So that's my point. And I think that if there was ever, I've rarely seen, other than on 60 Minutes or 2020 or whatever, stories about elder abuse. And as you know, my mother-in-law, God be with her, is struggling with Alzheimer's and some other things. Sonia takes such good care of her. I mean, it's amazing. But if we wanted to do what those who commit elder abuse want to do, we could do it. In some ways, in many ways, I believe what we watched back then and what we're watching still maybe is a form of elder abuse. She knew nobody could tell me that she didn't believe that her husband was going to get up on that stage and kick Trump's butt. She
Right.
didn't believe that. She knew he was struggling. If anybody knew it, she knew it. And so I'm only here to say past behaviors can predict future behaviors from a person, from a party, from a company, from whatever sports team.
Right.
So anyway, that's my point. Okay. And then the last thing I want to tell you before we get to the poem, because this is too good. So we're going to have a segment on aliens soon.
Good.
Because I got some thoughts on aliens. Group of teenager campers stalked by a group of teenage campers stalked by a group of Sasquatches in Idaho over Memorial Day weekend. A group of 10 teenagers, almost all of them 18, from Parma, Idaho, took the 2-hour or so trip to Payette National Forest in McCall, Idaho, to go camping for Memorial Day weekend. While there, they claim to have had encounters with, and some of them even witnessed, several Sasquatches. What is a Sasquatch? A Sasquatch.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. A Sasquatch is a tall, dark figure, just a couple, well, in this case, a tall, dark figure in this 9 feet tall, a couple of yards behind their friend's tent. And I'm not going to read the rest of it to you, but the authorities there actually put these kids who are claiming this through the ringer, so to speak, through a filter that said, are they really telling us the truth? And they believe they're telling the truth. So in Idaho, first of all, don't go camping. Second, 9 feet. That's Goliath in the Bible was 9 feet tall. We look at Wimbenyama, who's 7'4", and say, "Holy Moses!" But 9 feet, can you make? Couldn't stand up in here, and that they were validated as telling the truth about seeing a group of Sasquatch. Now, we don't have time now, so be thinking about this. If we can go to the moon, if we can create bunker busters to send into Iran that destroy miles under the earth, if we can have AI where we can ask us to build a business model for the most extreme, advanced, whatever, and it does it in a matter of minutes, you can't tell me that we can't catch a Sasquatch.
There you go. And a Loch Ness Monster, too.
So we're going to talk about aliens and whether or not they exist.
This
All right?
poem was originally written in 2020, and I dumped 3 paragraphs about what it was like in 2020 with everybody playing in the bubble and COVID going on and da-da-da-da-da. I can't believe that's been 6 years.
I know.
But
Time
here we go.
flies.
Lord Stanley's Cup. The Stanley Cup takes more than luck. Most of the time, the losers don't whine. Sure, a break or two helps you get through, but generally it's grit by guys who don't quit. It takes 4 long rounds, and your body they do pound. 16 tough victories and you're in. The fabled cup you do win. You get your name engraved for the life your parents paved. Off to the rink before dawn for the big backseat yawn. Mites, squirts, kiwis, bantams, and midgets. Young boys and girls filled with youthful fidgets. You can't grow up any sooner. Next year off to play junior. Nowadays, all the games are on TV. Every night there's a game to see. The intermission commentators are no doubt a great treat. King Henrik, PJ, Messier, and Gretzky are hard to beat. Vegas Brooms swept the Avs in the West. We're left to wait for the East Beast. Thankfully, we'll have a Canadian team at least. But so far, it's been a Carolina feast. This was written before elimination game. The longer the series goes, the more I get to see the pros. Sure, we can always watch the NBA, but never, ever on a Stanley Cup day. There's quite a long way to go. I ain't betting any hard-earned dough. I'm just glad that I played the game. It was all for fun, never for fame.
That's very good. All right. We don't have time for our day in history, I'm sad to say, which is what we use to help us become smarter, even at our age, particularly Sammy. So we'll have to
You
either
want to
double up.
double dip that on Thursday and hear this 10-0?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
you Googled. Yeah. So we'll pick up day in history on Thursday. All right, boys, you ready? True or false?
born ready.
All right, are you ready, Sam? True or false? The fictional city of Metropolis. Do you know what that's from?
Superman.
You learned something there too. The fictional city of Metropolis, the home of Superman, is located in New York. True or false?
Metropolis.
I got mine. It's false.
Why?
It's false.
Well, I'm saying
What's your reasoning?
You don't have to have my reasoning.
Okay.
I'll play devil's advocate and say true because I think it was just like a fictional remake of New York City.
The answer is false. Believe it or not, Metropolis is canonically, I should have looked that word up. It's recorded. Metropolis is located in Delaware. Interesting.
Wow.
So
I'm glad
the
I know
home
it.
city of Superman is in Delaware, not New York City. All right. Our sponsor for the show as usual, is Hoosier Custom Meats out of Italy, Texas. Sammy will put their information up on the screen. We're here to tell you that if you need steak, jerky, any kind of steaks, actually, whatever else you can make with
All manners beef.
hamburgers, you name it, a whole list of
Hot
things.
roast.
Yeah, check out Hoosier Custom Meats. They are a family that has raised all their beef in Italy. Not Italy, but
Italy,
Italy.
Texas.
So check them out. Tell them the boys from GGN sent you. We will see you on Thursday in this wonderful place.
Amen. Have a great day and try to put a smile on somebody's face today.